Hello, everyone, and welcome to the What's Up Downtown podcast. I'm Nate Wendt.
I'm Laura Purdy.
Alyssa Fulner.
And we hope everyone's fall has been off to a great start and hope that you've been able to make it to some of our events. We had a very successful jazz weekend last month and are hoping to use that momentum as we head into the 34th annual Scarecrow Fest.
Woo!
But we'll talk about that a little bit more during the break between the podcast. First, let's talk to our featured guests for this podcast episode. We invited Kava Diem owner Leah Jensky and cafe manager Bria Hayes onto the show to talk about Kava Diem, one of the best cafes around in my opinion, as well as fall and all the awesome delicacies that come along with the best time of the year, also again in my opinion. Before we get into the questions we brewed up for Leah and Brie, let's start with an easy question. How are you two doing today?
I'm doing great.
Yeah,
Happy to
awesome.
be here.
Very much so.
Awesome.
Yeah, welcome you guys.
Thank
We're
you.
so excited to have you here.
Glad to be here.
Woo! So it's going to be a great day. We got a great podcast ahead of everyone. So let's get into it. Tell us a little bit about yourselves, where you guys from, how long you guys been in St. Charles, family, things you like to do, etc. So Leah, we'll start with you.
I'll go first.
They both pointed at each other, so.
After you.
So polite.
My name's Leah. I've lived in St. Charles now for, 7 years now.
Okay.
And I've lived in many cities, big and small, around the Chicagoland area. And when it was time to start having my pack of children, I have 6 babies at home. I wanted to find a place that was really beautiful and had a lot to do and a great community and school and all of that good stuff. And St. Charles was perfect. So we picked it here and we love it. We absolutely love being part of this community.
Yeah, and we love to have you guys here too.
Thanks.
So, and then
So I don't live in St. Charles. I hope that's okay.
We
welcome. I live right down the river in Batavia, and I moved here 4 years ago from Chicago. Lived in Chicago for 14 years, and we really wanted to live a vacation type life. And we have a house on the river, and with my dog. And I started at Kava Diem in July. So St. Charles is super new to me, and I love it. And it's been really fun to see what happens here and be a part of the community and the cafe. So
great, awesome, love to hear it.
So exactly how long has it been since Kava Diem's been open?
We opened the last week of December of last year.
Okay.
Perfect time to open a new business if anyone's curious.
Yeah.
Right between holidays.
So
Yeah.
you're coming up on a year.
Almost, yeah.
So tell us what you like about downtown St. Charles and why this wonderful cafe of yours has been so successful.
Well, thank you. I think that the downtown area is unmatched. It's just gorgeous with the river. And especially now, the foliage and such, and the feeling of the downtown area is really beautiful. A lot of wonderful walkable businesses that I like to share in. My big thing is community, and I love bringing people together and bringing business owners together. And St. Charles is just ripe with so many wonderful things going on. So it was the perfect spot for us. And we didn't consider anywhere else, to be honest.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Yeah.
So Brie, what about
Number
you?
one.
I first came to Kava Diem as a customer in January, and I just, looking out on the river, and I think that that's something really special about St. Charles is, and Kava Diem has that river view, and there's a couple other of those businesses that do. So I've just really loved getting to know the community, like seeing the people that come in, the fishermen that are out there fishing in the morning, the sunrises, things like that right over the river from downtown. It's just impeccable to me.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Love to hear all of that.
I know you talked a little bit about community. One of the things that I notice when I come into Kava Diem is how you are so willing to post about events, and you put posters up and business cards. I just think that's awesome that you do that, so people can come in there and literally read the walls.
Yeah.
Because you have so many wonderful events going on and things going on, and you're so willing to share. So I think that's great, and I wish more people would realize how important that is.
It's true, to be a true community and have us, we're in the day and age where folks are on their phones or communicating electronically, and the neighborhood is something that's really cherished and can go away if we get stuck in the busy life. So myself and Bree and our cohort Natalie really work hard to find people in the community that have talents to share or events going on, and we want to be a part of that because we think it's really important for all of us to support each other and take care of each other in that way. And we have so much going on that there's no shortage of things to support or to go do.
Right. Yeah, no, that's awesome.
Yeah.
You guys are so cool. I love you guys. So let's talk about the most important question. If you guys were Queens of St. Charles for a day, what would be your first proclamation and why? And Bree, we'll start with you.
All right. So I've already mentioned the river.
Okay.
And I know that I'm going to harp on it. But I would love to put aside a day that everyone in St. Charles has to do something outside.
Okay.
They have to go down to the river, go kayaking, go to Potawatomi Park, get on that riverboat, see the river, see the forest preserve, something like that. It's something that living in Chicago, like in the city for so long, I just can't believe how much like the nature that's out here. And I think it gets people, it's part of building that community is being away from our phones, things like that. So.
Right.
Well, it's funny you say that because about a month ago, we had one of our committee members pull up on a boat and take us all for a ride.
That's amazing.
And so he took us all the way down the river north and back. And I've lived here 20 years. Never have I seen St. Charles from the vantage point of how somebody who lives right on the river lives.
Yeah.
It was like living in a different community.
Yeah.
He had a fire pit right on we stopped at his house. He had a fire pit. He had Adirondack chairs. I'm like, where am I? I'm certainly not in St. Charles, but I was. So it's really seeing it from a different vantage point.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I love that. And Leah, how about you?
And so, Bree and I are very much of the same mind, usually, and again in this answer as well, because so I'm a big relaxer and not taking life too seriously type person.
Okay.
So I always want to give people days off. So I just feel like everyone should just not go to work for one full day, right? And
Best
just
one yet.
spend time, right? and do those things that Bree mentioned. Or if people have special talents or things to share, just setting up little camps where everyone can hang out and just have our own little community.
I like yours.
Yeah, we can definitely
good
partner.
one.
Yeah, we can make it a joint one.
There we go. Citywide day off.
That would be great.
Awesome.
So tell us just a little bit about Kava Diem. Where did you guys get the name? We know it's an all-organic cafe. That idea, just a little bit more about the cafe.
Sure. So I'll start with the foundation, and Bree can show you where she's taking it because it's been a beautiful journey so far.
Good.
So my husband's grandmother, so my grandmother-in-law, if there's such a thing. I was very, very close with her even from the first time I met her, and she was from Eastern Europe, and she survived the Holocaust. She was in a camp and all of that history, and she was so enamored by the idea of family coming together at the end of the day after working and all of that, and just spending time together to talk about whatever it was. So in her language, which was a mix of Russian and Polish, she would say, sitch kava, which meant sit down, have coffee. And that was when everyone would come together and just talk about their day or laugh or joy. And that was just one of my favorite parts of the evening anytime that we visited. And my family is also Eastern European, so kava is for coffee. But again, with that kind of theme of how I try to live is just carpe diem. Figure out what you want to do in this moment. Don't worry about tomorrow or yesterday or whatever it is. So my brilliant husband came up with melding those things together when we were tossing around ideas. So it's a mix of kava, coffee, community coming together, chatting, and being warm together, and seizing the day.
Oh, I love it.
I like
Thanks.
that a lot.
Thanks. And I think there's a second part of your question.
Just talk a little bit about the organic and the coffee and the food, and I know that's a huge part of the cafe. So
Yeah, for me, when I started it, as I mentioned, I have 6 children, and it's hard to feed 6 children every day. They eat every single day, and so multiple
They do
times
eat every day,
every
yes.
single day. So for me, as a really busy person, and I have my kids they play for St. Charles Storm, they play for Chicago Soccer Academy out of St. Charles here. We're very active in the community, so cooking healthy food is not always an option.
And lots of calorie burning.
Lots of calorie burning. They eat, boy. But being able to give them grass-fed beef is something I wanted to do, and I couldn't do that really in many places. So we wanted to establish that kind of place, and I think that's what drew us with Bree too. We had a lot of friends in common, and kind of those desires of just allowing people to have a healthy option. We didn't want to go like just salads. While salads are delicious and we have many on our menu, some people like other types of food, so we tried to hit kind of everything that could be pleasing and comforting and yummy, but coming from a healthier source, I would say.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And one thing that I think is really great too is that we have a lot of families that come in that are handling, you know, like celiac or something else, or just wanting to go gluten free, and we have a lot of options for things like that. And I think we get to be a place where you can still have that comfort food and that healthy food without. So I've had so many conversations with people that are just like, bless you guys for having these, you know, gluten-free options. I didn't know where to turn because people are busy, and also we like eating out sometimes.
Yeah.
Right.
And
For sure.
you know, I do a lot of cooking at home, but having an option like Kava I was really grateful because it's something that people can trust that we are sourcing responsibly. We're getting the best organic that we can. Our coffee is single origin, wet processed. Where we get our coffee, they have relationships with the farmers. Things like that, like we know exactly the farm that our milk comes from, like that.
Right.
Those are values that I hold and Leah holds and a lot of our community holds, and we get to be a place that those people can gather.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And talking on like the coffee just a little bit more, I know you guys have like a special type of coffee that's like kind of like going crazy right now, especially with moms who need a lot of caffeine. But could you guys touch on just what it is and like what is unique about the Bulletproof coffee?
Sure. So Bulletproof was started by a gentleman named Dave Asprey, and he fancies himself a biohacker, if you've heard that term. He studies how the body works and what the best way is to kind of make it as efficient as possible. And he found that a lot of coffees have something that he called mycotoxins, which are, once you brew them, because of the way that everything's processed and quickly harvested and quickly roasted, especially dry roasted, there were certain molds and things that they found in the coffee. And he was someone who had a mold allergy and had some difficulty there. So he set out to grow the perfect bean for the exact amount of time that the plant should have to have the optimal nutrients, and then harvest it in such a way, process it in such a way that it would be unbelievably clean. So he then all of the beans are third-party tested to make sure they're the cleanest possible. And then his process, though, wasn't just about having coffee, because everything is about taking it to the next notch. And so he found that if you added fat to coffee, and fat is something that we're learning is actually really good for you,
right?
And specific types of fat. So a grass-fed butter has a certain lipid profile, if you will, that when combined with the exact coffee, and then something called medium chain triglycerides, which come from coconut oil, and burn really efficiently, it turns out it becomes a health food that gets your body kind of that caffeine boost that you mentioned, but without the crash and with the nutrients. So you can actually have it as a meal. It keeps you full because of the good fats in it. And you just, and what they're finding is the neurological function when you have something like a Bulletproof coffee is off the charts. So if you're going to start your day and want to be able to have good concentration and so on, Bulletproof is a really great option.
Okay. So I am like an everyday coffee drinker. I drink coffee every day. The first time I had Bulletproof coffee, I was like, whoo, total different person.
I remember that day.
I was not the same person. I'm pretty sure I started sweating a little bit.
Yeah.
And, like, had
I
to,
think
like,
you
roll up
and
the sleeves.
Jenna came in. You both had it the same day, and I'll tell you, man, I was sitting there and I was just like, what is going on? Because they literally were just
you
like...
You usually cannot tell when I drink coffee because I drink it every day.
Like I'm pretty sure Alyssa got everything that she wanted for that week done in 2 hours after drinking Bulletproof.
Perfect. I called her Ricochet Rabbit.
Oh, nice. It's a different person. And now we can have citywide day off. Because everyone's done with all of their stuff.
Drink Bulletproof coffee and we can get there.
We're in.
Awesome.
So the next question has already been answered, so I'll ask a new one. And this is total off the cuff. So tell us about some of the cool events that you guys have been having at Kava Diem. Like the pop-up art show. What can you tell us? And then maybe a little bit about what's on the horizon.
Yeah. So we have our dear Director of Operations, Natalie, in the room, but not on
Natalie.
camera or mic. And she has been doing these awesome pop-up art shows, and it's great. It's in the evening or late afternoon, and a bunch of artists come in, so it has a different feel. Like we have if you haven't been to the cafe, it's gigantic for a cafe. So we have the space to have artists set up at different tables and sell their artwork pretty affordably, and just walk through, look at art, have some music playing, things like that. And it's a model that we want to continue doing. And we are going to have an event at the end of the month around Halloween.
Okay.
And it will have that feel of that pop-up art show, but we'll also have some tarot readers, and it'll have like a really more of a spooky theme for Halloween. So we're really excited about that.
Oh, good.
Awesome. And for people that don't know, what's your guys' location, just so they can make sure to get there?
Yeah.
We're in the same shopping center as Kimmer's Ice Cream, so we're right on the river on Illinois. You can't miss us. That beautiful old piano factory.
Yes, I believe that's Fox Island Square, right?
Yes,
Okay.
Fox Island Square.
Yeah. So and I love your guys' space. I know Julia, our intern this past summer, did a 30-second video for you guys, and that was, I didn't even realize there was that back room there, and it's, like you said, it's huge, and it's awesome. There's so much, like, you have, like, the couches back there, and that little fireplace, it just feels so much like a home. It's awesome. I love
I'm
it.
so glad you noticed that, because going along with Sitch Kava, we purposely put all of the hustle and bustle in the front. So when you come in, you'll place your order. The kitchen is there.
Okay.
But when you walk into the next room, that is home. That is where you sit down with your friends or your family or your computer if you want to just have a nice warm cup of coffee and a great view. It's set up so that can be a totally separate environment.
Yeah, no, I love that space. So
Good.
that's awesome that you guys have that.
So I think we need to take a little break and test out some of the specialty items they brought for us today.
Yeah, so
If
for
you
those
guys
of you
wanna,
that don't know, we
Yes.
they brought in some of their awesome donuts for us, and we
You wanna
will
talk about
get to
them?
try
Oh,
some
yeah.
of
Are
them.
they gluten-free?
They are gluten-free and organically sourced. So Dawn, the baker, she used to have Early Light Cafe in Geneva, I believe it's in
Yes.
Geneva. And I first met her when my mom and I were doing taste tests for all sorts of different things we were going to have at the cafe. We stopped there, we had some donuts, and we fell out of our chairs. So we said, this is the best
They are
tasting thing
delicious.
ever.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So fortunately for us, she was looking for a shift and decided to take up residence in Kava Diem. So we have Dawn's Donuts. They're really delicious, and she has made a special apple cider donut for the fall, which is what you've got
Is
over
that
there, right?
This
Yes.
one.
Right?
Yeah, everyone's eating right now.
Yes.
Really good.
Well, and the cool thing is we have just started making our own apple cider. So Dawn is making apple cider from 2 different types of organic apples and some cinnamon, a little orange. And we'll be using that cider not only as a warm offering and something that we're rolling out in the next week or 2,
Awesome.
but also as the main ingredient there in the donuts.
Yeah, I'll tell you, folks, I just had one of those donuts, and my mouth is still watering after eating it because it's just so good. Holy spank.
Now, speaking of cider, you guys are set up a little differently. If somebody wanted to come have dinner
That's correct.
and bring their own libations,
That's
right?
correct. Yeah. We did not opt to go full force to serve any type of alcoholic beverages. But in the idea of be warm and comfortable and enjoy and relax, we do have the option. We have a BYOB license, which means you can bring your own wine or beer, ciders included. So you can bring that to enjoy with any meal. We have a lot of moms who bring mimosas in the morning.
Oh,
Okay.
all
Yeah,
right.
so
Wow.
that's an option as well.
Way to go, moms.
Yeah.
Moms and mimosas.
That's it.
Oh, it's a thing.
It's
Believe
Really?
me. It's a thing. Oh, yes.
Oh boy. But yeah, no, I Miss Dawn, she actually went to her son went to high school with me, so
Oh,
I've gotten to know her
cool.
for a long time, and I always look forward to our track meets because she would make these like cheese biscuits they were to die for. And so when I learned that she was making stuff for you guys now at Kava Diem, I was like, well, there goes the rest of my budget for the rest of the year because I'm going to be there every day. So
That's right. She's a magical. Even her soups. I mean, anything that she makes. She makes a chicken tortilla soup that's going to be coming out now that we're getting into cool weather.
Yeah.
That is probably the best tortilla soup I've ever had.
Okay.
Everything she makes is that quality.
Yeah, she's
so,
awesome.
Yeah.
And so, you talked about the inside a little bit too, but I know that the patio probably won't be open for too much longer now that the weather's getting cooled down, but can you talk about the patio a little bit and how long that'll be open for and such like that?
Yeah, until people start freezing is my opinion.
Yeah, it's actually, for me, this is perfect patio season.
Yes.
And a lot of our guests have been catching on to that. When the sun is just right and it's hitting you on that patio, it's just really perfect, especially with a hot cup of coffee in your hand. So we'll have it out, we'll have it available for as long as people sit out there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And how late are you open at night?
6 o'clock now during the
Okay.
week. We do close at 5 on Sundays and Mondays.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. I wasn't sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we close at 6 now because we were getting quite a few requests for evening rentals. So it's a really cozy space and people wanted to have private events.
Okay.
So we do have that available in the evenings.
Oh,
Yeah.
Good to
very
know.
nice.
Everything from book clubs to we can fit 140 people. So it's a nice space.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I'm glad
people-
you said that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if people are interested in hosting any events or anything like that, how can they contact you guys?
The best way would be through email.
Okay.
So our email address is contact, CONTACT, at kavadiem.com.
Okay. Awesome. So, yeah.
There's also a page online that you can submit a form if you are looking to book Kava Diem, and we'll get back to you.
Okay.
Okay.
Terrific.
Very cool.
All right. So let's see. Yeah. So, and you guys talked about this a little bit earlier, but you're coming almost upon a year now in St. Charles. That's crazy how the time has flown. I remember just seeing the articles like you guys are opening up and I was like, let's go.
Right.
So tell us a little about the first year. What are some things that you guys have learned? Some things that you're looking for into the next coming years. So, yeah.
Every day is a learning opportunity. Every single day we learn. I've opened businesses before. I've run businesses my whole life. My grandparents, my parents are all entrepreneurs. But I've never run a restaurant. And let me tell you, it is a whole different animal. And the number of moving pieces is astonishing.
Right.
So every day, just today, Brie and I were like, oh, we now have to work on this thing because we haven't looked at. So every day there's something else going on. So it's been a challenge. In fact, my mom originally started the business with me. And she's a retired school teacher. And she
Okay.
thought, oh, it'll be fun. We'll hang out with our friends and drink coffee. Yes, that would definitely be a fun part of it. And then the business started happening, and we had so many pieces going that she said, I think I'm going to go back to teaching. So she actually is back teaching now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Wow.
It's a lot. It really is a lot to run the business. So we continue to learn, but I tell you, what I have found in my own practice and now being a restaurateur is just to take it easy and go with what your gut and your heart says would be fun to do. And if you fall down and make a mistake or something didn't work out or it wasn't profitable or whatever it is, you just move on to the next thing.
Right.
So that's been a
Right.
great adventure. And I absolutely love the hours is something that we've been playing with because we've been open late, we've been open early. Do
Yeah.
people want to come for dinner? Do they want to come for lunch? So that's something that we've been playing with as well.
Yeah.
But now I think we're to the point where Bree has done a fantastic job getting the operation running very smoothly. So now that we're there, we can focus on launching cool, fun things.
Awesome.
Which I'm not going to go into now. I'm sure it's
Yeah,
down the
top
line.
secret.
So we'll talk about that later. But now we're getting into a little bit more of the fun piece, I would say. I hope Bree agrees with me
I
there.
totally agree. Totally agree with that.
We're excited.
Yeah. And of course, it's awesome when you have great people to surround you and help support you. That's awesome.
We are so fortunate, and we I personally hire just on like how nice people are.
Okay.
Because I could teach you to be a barista. We have beautiful connections with other coffee, our roasters right out of Geneva, and he does great training. And actually, Bree has a huge background in coffee, really, really knowledgeable. So I can teach you that part and how to run a register.
Right.
But you are greeting people first thing in the morning before they start their day, and there's nothing more important than that big warm smile
Yep.
and absolutely how can we help you attitude. So that's kind of our big focus.
I think that's a really good thing too. We kind of go by that here at the Alliance, is that you can't really teach personality and
Right.
culture, but you can teach them how to do things. So
Right.
Yeah.
I think that's why we all get along so well too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Your vibe attracts your tribe.
That's true. That's very true.
That's always on it. So we're obsessed with chocolate at the office. So we
nice.
get like those little Dove
Oh,
ones that have
sure.
the saying. And
Or the
it
Hershey's.
literally- no,
Yes.
Nate only likes Hershey. No one else. We're all Dove dark chocolate
Oh, that's
lovers.
funny.
But the insides always have those little cute sayings.
sure.
And one says, your vibe attracts your tribe.
It's true.
It
Yeah.
is
It's
true.
true.
And what are some things that you guys have also learned about St. Charles in the time that you've been here as well?
Okay, so I didn't know about Potawatomi Park
Okay.
until, or the riverboats. So that was like a really exciting thing for me
Oh,
because
good.
it's so cool.
Yeah.
Y'all got this. St. Charles has it down. Like,
Yeah.
I've
St.
been-
Charles has it down. I love
I've-
it.
and living out here for 4 years, it was really cool to have a reason to come
Yeah.
a little bit north and to start this exploring. And also, shout out to our neighbor Kimmer's. Kimmer's
Yeah.
ice
Yeah.
cream
Yeah.
has
Yeah.
changed
So
my
good.
life. Changed my life.
Have you
She's
had one of
amazing.
their
Yeah.
ice cream sandwiches yet?
No, but I will.
Those are to
Oh,
die
Your
for.
whole
man.
entire like square is like the perfect stop. Like Eden on the River has amazing food and hummus, and then you guys have amazing products. Kimmer's ice cream. If you need wine, you go to the like everything is there.
And then
that
if you need to get your art on, you
Yes.
go to
Yeah.
sip.
Or if you need to
Yeah.
learn how to
Dance.
dance, you got Lux right there.
There you
So.
go.
Yeah, it's just
We
such a
have
cool
great
little square.
neighbors.
Yeah.
We're really,
Yeah.
really lucky.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, and then there's a hair salon in there. So if you need to get pretty.
Yeah.
There you go.
I got it going on.
So
So what would you say in that first year was, so let's go with like the biggest obstacle or biggest achievement, biggest obstacle.
Oh my goodness. I will tell you the achievement is making it 10 months so far.
Woo!
Yeah, it's true. Every month we have to go through things and go, oof. Because I will tell you that sourcing organic is a very difficult process.
Right.
And we wrestle the line of, well, other businesses in the area charge $1 less for their hamburger or whatever it is. But we can't cut that cost. We cut our profits significantly. So typically in the restaurant industry, they say you want to have kind of a 25% as your food cost. Ours runs closer to 50% just because of the nature of the food that we're getting.
Right.
Plus, when we're working with farmers, we actually do have a farmer that's about an hour and a half south of here. They've 4 generations now of farming these cows, and they're taken care of like you and I would like to be taken care of in our lives. But if they have something where there's any kind of drought or any kind of anything, they're affected, and it's not this mass chain that we have. So
Right.
sourcing is probably it's not as much of a challenge. We're getting through that part of it, but it's a constant thing where we're constantly looking at how can we provide a cost, because I do have this feeling that organic and healthy food shouldn't only be available to those that can spend $20 for a sandwich. We have to
Right.
be able to provide that to the community at a doable price. So that's been a challenge.
Okay.
But it's also an achievement because
Right.
we've done a really great
It's a
job
rewarding
so far.
challenge. Like when
Yes.
as you
Mhm.
continue to solve it, it's like you keep making things better, and
That's it. And I will tell you, the biggest achievement for me is every time I walk into that cafe, I know half the people there, not just because of sports and all of that, which is how I used to know everyone, but because they come in regularly and we really get to know them and hear their stories. And then they bring in their family and we meet them. And to me, that's all I've ever wanted, whether it was a restaurant or any other type of business. So for me, that's the best thing about it.
yeah, awesome. I love that.
So I know you guys touched on cider a little bit, but do you have any other drinks you would recommend for the fall?
Yeah. So I actually just brought, Brie doesn't even know this yet. Well, she knows that it's coming, but she doesn't know I brought it today. We have a plethora of fall warm, amazing new drinks on the menu.
Okay.
So we're going to have a golden milk, which is turmeric, which is an anti-inflammatory, wonderfully beneficial plant mixed with black pepper because it's not actually absorbable without black pepper,
right.
and some other beautiful herbs to make a golden milk. So that is something that helps with sleep. It helps with just that general cozy feeling. And what I have brought today is a spirulina-based drink. So spirulina is a blue-green algae that is also very good for detox and health in general. And we're going to mix that up as a latte. And then we have a purple one that Natalie's been concocting that we're literally having a meeting right after this to get those fall drinks launched. So, and with the apple cider, we have a lot of really good stuff coming up.
Yeah, awesome.
And if you're looking for a basic pumpkin spice, latte, we've got those too. We've got those too for all of your
Yeah.
fall needs.
That's right.
Yeah.
And one other thing I'm really excited about. I'm sorry, this one's really cool. Our chef, Roberto, who is just a heart. He's just an amazing creature. He created our avocado toast, but instead of on toast, putting it on sliced sweet potato.
Ooh.
It tastes amazing. I was just
Love
falling
that.
out of my seat. So it's a gluten-free option. It's a paleo-friendly option. So if you don't want to just go with the gluten-free toast, it's just warm and sweet and delightful with all of the
Ooh, I'll have
ingredients
to
on
try
top.
that.
Yeah,
For
it's
sure.
so good.
Staff
It's
trip
really
to
good.
Kava Diem after this.
Yeah. So, oh, that's very cool. So where can people find more information, or where can they find you on social media?
Our website is www.kavadiem.com. And we are on Facebook and we are on Instagram. Our Instagram handle is Kava Diem STC, and you can just search on Facebook.
Yeah.
And that's something we're really starting to ramp up now because we've really been doing kind of getting the operation down. So now finally we're starting with some social media, and we'll have some emails coming out and reward clubs and that type of
Oh,
stuff.
good.
Yeah,
Good.
that's something we're just
Good.
starting.
Awesome.
Good. Oh,
So,
well,
yeah, well, if
great.
there's anything else you guys want to share or talk about Kava Diem or anything?
Shout out to all of our customers who have really kept us going this past 10 months and given us the opportunity to be at this place where we really can do more launching and getting more people in. Since it's such a big space, like we can fit more people, but we really do have such a great group of regulars that are coming in and being our ambassadors in St. Charles and the rest of the Fox Valley area. So just
absolutely.
thanks to all those folks.
Yeah, that support has been amazing. Even for your group, thank you to you guys and all that you do to build up this great community. It's really, really beneficial for us. And I've had businesses in many different towns and never had an experience like this.
Oh,
So
thanks.
it's true. It's true.
Good,
We have a
good.
great community here, both in the organizational piece and just the neighbors.
Ah, awesome. Well, thanks for that,
Yeah,
guys.
it's
Appreciate
true.
it.
You're welcome.
And cheers to another year, and as you guys continue, and we hope to see what you guys got. So
Great.
be great.
Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah. So again, thank you to all of our listeners and to Leah and Bree for coming in today. That's all we got. So we'll catch you guys next time on What's Up
Downtown.